Again, we're thankful for each of his presence here with us today. Here it is, the first Sunday of 2026. When you wrote your check out this morning, did you have to correct that date? It's not the 2025 anymore. It's 2026. Here we are, January the 4th, the first Sunday of the new year. We're thankful for each of his presence, and hopefully you're as interested in the work of this congregation of the Lord's Church as we are to present it to you. We're thankful for your attentiveness and interest in the work and all of the cooperation that we have enjoyed not only this past year but the past many, many years. So we're looking forward to a great work this year, and we know and we're confident, as the past is any indicator, that you will be very cooperative and help us try to achieve what we have planned for this year. Thanks to Jimmy for leading our song service today, for Ken's upcoming lesson, and Chad vacating the pulpit for you. We love each and every one of you. We hope that we demonstrate that in how we try to achieve what the Chief Shepherd has assigned us to do. We take our responsibilities very seriously, and we know that we'll have to answer for each and every soul that's here with us today. That's a sobering thought. For any of you fellas who have the aspiration of eventually being either a deacon, a special servant of this congregation, or one day be an elder of this congregation, we would encourage you to make good choices now. Be preparing your mind and your actions as to what you can fulfill, what you have the capability and the aspiration to be, because Jimmy and Ken and myself will not be in this role forever. We will have the need for additional leaders to come up behind us, and we're hopeful that those that are qualified, those that have yet to be qualified, are working on being qualified to fulfill this role at the appropriate time, because Jimmy, myself, and I'm sure Ken can say the same thing. It came upon us a lot sooner than we thought that it would. Time gets by so quickly. So it's best for us to make good choices now so that we're ready when the opportunity presents itself. Hebrews 13:17 tells us, obey them that have the rule over you, not to lord it over. The Hebrews writer knew exactly what he was talking about here, led by the Holy Spirit. He's actually saying cooperate. But they who watch for your souls, as those who must give an account, let them do so with joy and not with grief or not with anguish, but for that would be unprofitable for you. So we call on those when we have opportunity who need encouragement or correction. We're not trying to stick our nose in your business. We're just trying to do our job, and we appreciate your cooperation in this effort. We're just trying to be the shepherds that we've been called to be. Our goal is to get everybody to heaven and take as many people with us as we possibly can, which is what was just prayed. So we're thankful for your cooperation in that regard. Our theme this year is the same as it has been for the past several: spiritual growth and maturity. Let us all ask ourselves, are you serious about your salvation? That's why we're doing this. Are you serious about your salvation? Am I still in spiritual kindergarten? Have I grown any now versus this time last year, versus this time 2 years ago, 5 years ago? Are you making incremental progress in your spiritual maturity? There are several opportunities to do that. All lessons that are presented from this pulpit or from this auditorium, as it's our responsibility to oversee, are Bible-based. They're Scripture. They come straight from the Word of God. We would encourage you to take as many opportunities as possible to participate in that and be here for it and learn from it and put it into practice so that you can also be that shining example to those round about you, so that we can do what we've been scripturally authorized to do, which is to evangelize. How much have I grown in the last year? Did I attend Bible study regularly? Did I attend worship service regularly? Sometimes you're not able to be here. We understand that. You're traveling, you're away, you're infirmed, you're sick, you're at work. But whenever I have the opportunity to be here, hopefully the attitude is, I want to be here. I want to be with those that have like precious faith. I want to be here to encourage one another, to love and to stir up good works, to edify and encourage one another. That's why we're here, to be here, not only because we're commanded to, but our attitude should be, this is where I want to be. Did I attend both of our gospel meetings last year? Am I making plans to attend both of our gospel meetings that we have planned for this year? I hear a lot of reports from the brotherhood out there, from guys that we know, such as Rob Whitaker and several others that are all over the brotherhood, talking to other congregations. A lot of congregations don't have gospel meetings anymore, or they'll have like a weekend type thing. Of course, several years ago, we used to have gospel meetings for like 2 weeks at a time. And you would meet before you went to work, and you would meet after work, and you would meet for like 2 weeks. We're not quite that now, but we still have gospel meetings twice a year. They start on Sunday, they go through Thursday. A lot of them now, even if they have gospel meetings, they stop at Wednesday. But we're looking forward to as much opportunity as we can for spiritual guidance and feasting upon God's Word. We also have a fantastic vacation Bible school, which in itself is really a de facto third gospel meeting, because it's a week period almost from the Sunday kickoff through that Thursday. It's a lot of instruction that goes on in our vacation Bible school, and it's a de facto third gospel meeting as we see it. Did I aid in personal evangelism? Did I participate in door knocking? Do I teach a class? Do I help teach a class? Have I been thinking about maybe I could do some of those type things and get out of my comfort zone a little bit? Did I participate in Lance to Leaders? Lance to Leaders has started from very humble beginnings, but now look at it. How many were in Atlanta last year? About 3,000, roughly, 2,500. In Nashville, I think there's close to 10,000. There are several different Last to Leaders events that are held around the country. Last to Leaders has really taken off in popularity, but there's a reason for that. It's because it's an instructional tool. We get the kids to be involved in it. They learn so much, not only from a spiritual standpoint, but it helps them in their personal life to expand their confidence. So if you're not participating in Last to Leaders, I will encourage you highly to do so. We also always do very well in Last to Leaders, and that's a testament to the leader that we've had for the past 29 years, and Brother John McDaniel. Now we have a good brother, Landon, who is going to take up that mantle, and I'm confident that we will do very well in Last to Leaders. We always have 70 or 80 participants, including some of the parents, but it is a worthy goal. Is it something that you're thinking about being involved in? We'd encourage you to do that. Camp also. And some of the other fellowship activities, our church picnic, vacation Bible school that we had talked about, our Brothers Keepers events, trunks of treats, and so forth. There's several different opportunities that we try to present that we're hopeful that you will take advantage of. You also ask yourself, am I keeping the main thing, which is to help be a good example to my family that's around me, to encourage them to be faithful, to encourage others to be faithful, and teach others to be faithful. Hebrews 10:24 and 25 tells us to consider each other and not to forsake the assembly, to stir up and provoke love and good works. We're exhorting one another. We're teaching one another in songs and hymns and spiritual songs. Chad will have his commendations and concerns tonight, right? He's been working on that for a long time. We're not going to steal a lot of his thunder this morning as far as the numbers, as far as the number of baptisms that we had this past year, which has been excellent. Probably one of the greatest totals that we've had so far in 1 year, and also including the number of restorations that we have also been able to establish. We had a great Last to Leaders, as we'd mentioned, camp, VBS, the potlucks, trunks of treats, Men's and Ladies' Day. We'll have more to say about that here specifically in just a moment. We also have several other events that we're trying to accomplish, such as some miscellaneous upgrades to our building. We've had several of those already. We're working on the flooring back here in the baptistry at this time because it's been there for a long time. This building was built in 1964, so there have to be some periodic upgrades to bring it up to code and make sure that it's safe for everybody who attends here. So thanks to all those men who take care of those type things that are always behind the scenes, but they play a very important role. We have our Just a Minute spots that Chad does on local radio, 1330 a.m., also B92, 92.1. The same fellow owns 4 or 5 radio stations in Carrollton, and it has a far-reaching effect. I've heard it in Douglasville. It gets into eastern Alabama. It gets up to Cedartown. It gets down maybe to LaGrange. There's a far-reaching effect, and a lot of people hear that. A lot of people appreciate that. We get cards, we get inquiries, Chad does, throughout the mail and throughout contacts through the website routinely. I appreciate your lesson and keep up what you're doing. So it does have a very good positive effect from a public relations standpoint that Chad has been doing now for several years. We will continue to support our preacher schools. We always have several different potential missions that we make plans for and supporting many preacher students, not only at Memphis School of Preaching, but also in other areas in Latin America and also in India. We're converting our house-to-house from bi-monthly every other month to every month. That costs us more money, but we do have that budgeted. We've also doubled our contribution to each missionary in December. We've done that for the past several years, and meeting our budget again for the past several years consecutively allows us to do that again for 2025. But there's always something that can be done. Men to serve and to volunteer for tasks, women to teach and volunteer and send cards and participate in behind-the-scenes activities like the ladies' Facebook group and so forth. You've been very effective in encouraging and evangelizing. So, we're to implore us to all strive in the spirit of unity, remembering that we are all on the same team, not factions that are trying to get along and trying to feel better than each other. We're not. We're all on the same team, and we all should have the same goal, which is to try to help every one of us get to heaven. Lest we get the big head, we strive to do God's will and ensure Bremen is what it's always been, or at least tried to be, is that shining light on a hill, the glorious church, as Brother Ray would pray, unspotted from the world, that Jesus would have it to be. That's why we're doing what we're doing. And with that, we'll present to you our 2026 goals and budget. We saw this as late as yesterday, but we thought it was quite appropriate, if you can see it on the screen behind me. A lot of people view the church as a cruise ship to where we can just come and lounge and have people over, everybody else serve us, and we don't have to do anything. But we would encourage you to look at the church as a battleship, where the mantra should be, it's all hands on deck. What can I do to promote the church? What can I do to help others? We have that atmosphere here. We have that attitude, and we're very thankful for it. Jesus himself said in John chapter 9, verse 4, I must work the works of him who sent me while it is yet day. The night comes when no one can work. Our goals are very similar to the way they have been the past several years, but they're very appropriate. Number one is to grow in spirit. Did I grow in spirit this year versus last? How do we do that? We stress the importance of Bible school, last to leaders, getting various men to extend the invitation and auditorium class teaching, door knocking at least twice a year, sound preaching and teaching. That's how we do it. Why do we do it? Well, it's God's will. 1 Timothy 2 tells us to show ourselves approved, as Paul would instruct his young evangelist Timothy. We're to grow and mature spiritually. Hebrews 5:12-14 tells us, for when by reason of time you ought to be teachers, you have need again that someone teach you the rudiments of the first principles of the oracles of God, and to become rich and have become such that have need of milk and not solid food. You ought to be teachers, which means if you're thinking about it, we would encourage you to do it. Get out of your comfort zone, because we always need good teachers. Increasing our attendance. Brother Ken will have some presentation concerning that as we go along here in just a moment. Sunday morning Bible school, Sunday morning worship service, Sunday evening worship service. A lot of times we see you'll have a level of attendance on Sunday mornings, but there's a significant drop-off Sunday evening service. That's not the case here. We're very thankful for that. We have about 75 to 80% of attendance on Sunday night versus Sunday morning, which is good. That's what we want. There are some folks who can't see to drive at night during the short daylight hours. We understand that. But if you can be here every time the doors open, that's always a good practice. Wednesday night is a rough average of about 137. We're also to evangelize. We're just seed sowers, but God has instructed us, as he instructed the 12 apostles, to do exactly what we're doing now, which is to evangelize. Why? We're to put on the whole armor of God. Ephesians 6 tells us to stand against the wiles of the devil. How to do that? We gird our waist with truth. We put on the breastplate of righteousness. We shod our feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. We have that shield of faith to quench the fiery darts of the devil, and you know he's firing at us all the time. We have that helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit. If we get to know the sword of the Spirit, it will help us, and it will help others. How do we do so? Continue Bible-based teaching and preaching, book, chapter, and verse preaching. Did you notice that? Book, chapter, and verse preaching. When Chad presents a lesson, when Johnny presents a lesson, when Landon produces a lesson, there's scripture that goes along with what we're preaching. That is our basis, and that's from which what we are to evangelize from. We have other resources that we can depend upon, and those that we support. Gospel Broadcasting Network, they have a wonderful app. If you have yet to download that to your phone, we would encourage you to do so. Christian Courier has a fantastic website. If you're researching something, it's always a good resource, Christian Courier. Search TV, which is Phil Sanders, that we pay for or help pay for in the Atlanta market. Why are we supposed to evangelize? Well, we're commanded to do it. Matthew 28:18 through 20 tells us to go and teach. That's me, and that's you. We need your help. Talk to your family and your co-workers. Invite them to Bible study and worship. And anybody who has a Bible study need, there's several that are here that will be more than happy to conduct a Bible study for others that you have interested to talk about it. Do we ever get weary and ask why we don't have more success when we preach the gospel? You ever thought that? The parable of the sower, Jesus' parable in Matthew 7, tells us at best there's going to be 25% that'll take to it. Maybe they don't understand the severity of hell. It's severe, and it's coming for those that don't obey. We get too wrapped up in our daily routine, but I'm telling you, there are people out there that are searching for the truth, and it's up to us to show it to them when they have that interest. We have 2 gospel meetings upcoming. The 2 men that will be conducting those meetings, Lord willing, we're quite familiar with. Brother Cliff Goodwin, he's one of those that you have to secure years in advance. It's probably been 6 years since we've had him to come and conduct a gospel meeting for us. But April 26th through 30 is our spring gospel meeting that Cliff will conduct. Brother Mike Hickson, who is all over GBN, will be conducting our fall gospel meeting September the 27th through October the 1st. We also are big investors in the School of Evangelism. This is Rob Whitaker's effort that has really taken off. They started this in the spring of 2018. So about 6.5 years ago, he started this effort, and now he has about 6,000 congregations that are involved in the United States. almost 2,000 baptisms in 2024, 1,100 in 2025. Restorations, 122 last year. So we're big supporters of the School of Evangelism. The Back to the Bible books that you're familiar with, this is where it comes from, and this is a portion of what we have charged Brother Landon to help us to make sure that we stay on task about. Congregational outreach, and this is some of the money that we spend in the quote-unquote potential missions. Good News Today, we sent them some money to help them stay on the air. The Just a Minute spots, we spent a lot of money for that, but we think it's worth it. The House to House, as I had mentioned, is now monthly and not bi-monthly. We sent money to Rob Whitaker to send to Jamaica. There were 2 congregations there that were devastated by the recent hurricanes that had a devastating effect, but they're using that not only to recover, but also using that for evangelistic efforts. There were several other miscellaneous storm relief type items that we participated in, and we got thank you notes back from those folks that we sent the money to. Several miscellaneous. John Rice is conducting a lot of youth camps all over Africa. Diego we support in Latin America, and also the House to House, Heart to Heart School of Evangelism. We also took on the work for Praveen in India. This has been several years ago, but that work has really taken off. In 24 and 25, they completed their church building, which was quite a massive effort. They were able to accomplish more with limited resources than a lot of us do with unlimited resources. It's a worthy work for us to support, and we're happy to do so. Now he has students that they're teaching in his preacher school that are quote-unquote denominational preachers. They're teaching them the Word of God, and they realize this is what I've been looking for all this time. So he's doing a fine work, and we're happy to support it. He also has a lot of headwinds in India. The government is against him. Most people are Buddhist there. But he's steadfast in trying to accomplish what he's doing, and we're happy to help him in that effort. We also support McKinley Pate, who is in Tiger, Georgia, which is Rabun County. He had a fine work in the Florence, Alabama area, decided he would go back to keep that congregation from closing. So we're happy to support him in his efforts there. Several activities that we want to remind you of that are upcoming. The Brothers Keepers events, we have that routinely. The area-wide singing, we haven't had an area-wide singing since January of last year. We're thinking of doing that again the last Friday of this month. If y'all are okay with that, then we'll set it up and plan for it. But that would be January the 30th. We have yet to make that official, but if y'all think it's a good idea, we do too, so we'll make that happen. The Men's Day, Matt Wallen will present the Men's Leadership Seminar, which will be the first Saturday of February the 7th. Matt Wallen will be conducting that. The Ladies' Day will be March the 14th. Leah Fawn is the speaker for that event. Last to Leaders is earlier this year. Easter was kind of late last year, but it's like 3 weeks earlier this year. So there's going to be a lot of preparation that needs to begin as soon as possible for the kids to be ready for Bible Bowl. April the 2nd, first weekend of April is when Last to Leaders will be. The gospel meetings that we had mentioned, youth devos and other events, the family picnic, June the 6th. Camp is the third week of June on Father's Day, as it always is. VBS, the third week of July. Our fall festival and Trunks of Treats will be the latter part of October. We'll have to establish that date. Ladies' Thanksgiving Luncheon, November the 7th, and the Thanksgiving Prayer and Song Service, November the 25th. But that we do have a calendar of events. If you want a copy of that, we can make that happen. And the holiday party, December the 6th. Looking at our budget from when we started tracking this in 2016, which is 10 years ago. Put this in perspective. Our budget in 2016 was about $300,000 for the year. Here we are 10 years later. This year is $507,000. It's risen over 40% in 10 years. That's a testament to you and your cooperation with us and how much God has blessed us. We're very thankful for that, and we know you are as well. But we've always either met or exceeded our budget. We've spent more than we've taken in, but we've had the resources to do it. There's still no shortage of worthy works to support. We took in about $488,000 last year, but we spent $530,000. So we spent $42,000 more than what we actually took in, but again, we had the ability to do so. All from the church treasury and not from a handful of individuals. Every one of us participated in that event. So this kind of gives you an idea of the breakdown of how much money is allotted to certain specific works that we're involved in. Evangelism represents 67% of our budget. We're ecstatic about that, and we're hopeful that you are as well. The reason for that is good men that preceded us years ago made sure that everything was working well before we got to this point. This building is paid for and has been paid for many, many years, and it's kept up very well. This building was built in 1964. The preacher's house was built in 65 or 66. But they still look great, don't they? That's a testament to all the men who look after that particular portion. Our evangelism budget is up about $20,000 from what it was last year to about $340,000 to $350,000 of that 507. Benevolence and edification are about the same. Operations and miscellaneous are about the same. So our budget is risen to $507,000 for the year, which is an average of $9,757 per week, which is basically an increase this year versus last year of 5%. So if you think about, okay, what am I routinely giving? Bump it up by 5%, we'll be good. Our evangelism mission is to preach the word, be ready in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and teaching. We're very blessed here to have fine ministers. Chad Dollahide he's in his 14th year, is that right? 14th year. Can you believe it? It just seems like yesterday he and his fine family that were much younger children, now their oldest is 21 and moving away from us. How did that happen so fast? But it did. But Chad's been with us in his 14th year, and we're very happy to have him. John McDaniel has been our associate minister and youth minister for a long time, 29 years. And John is now our grandfather, and he has always done a fine job for us, and I'm sure you would agree. We have a new man now, Landon Olson, who is our outreach and youth minister. He's been charged with very specific tasks, and he's so far carrying those out very well. We're thankful for what he is doing for us. This, again, is a breakdown of our specific total evangelism of $340,000, thereabout. This will be printed in color and will be on the bulletin board here in the hallway. So if you want to drill down and see how much of what we're doing for a specific missionary or a specific group, that information is public knowledge. Again, edification and benevolence support our evangelistic efforts. Which are about the same as they were last year. Now, Brother Ken will have some specific detail as to how we're planning on working some additional activities that support what we're trying to accomplish in our personal evangelism program. So, again, our operations budget is approximately $140,000, which totals up to our total budget of $507,000 for this calendar year. Thank you for your time and attention, Brother Ken.
Thank you, Chris. Two things I was reminded of this week getting ready for this is preparation time, hours turn into minutes. So if you want to know why Chad's in his office all the time, that gets condensed real well. Another thing I learned is no matter how many times you look over your notes, as soon as you get up here, you find typos and words missing. The elders want to thank everybody for their good work in 2025. Everything the Bremen congregation accomplishes is only through y'all's support, and we just want to thank you for that. In the time I've been here, you've never failed to meet or exceed an opportunity that's been presented to you. I'm not going to steal Chad's thunder. Well, I'm going to steal a little bit of his thunder. I'm going to give a few numbers, and he'll flesh them out tonight. Probably the most important thing that has happened in the congregation last year was we had 8 baptisms, 8 new souls, and at least 8. Let me put it that way. All my numbers are going to be at least, because I don't want to leave anybody out, and I might have. So we've had at least 8 baptisms, 8 new souls in the kingdom of the Lord, many of which were a result of y'all's individual Bible studies. We had at least 7 new families that decided to identify with us, and we want to welcome all of them to our church family. One of these families is traveling all the way from Columbus. Now, it probably doesn't hurt that the grandparents are here, but we'll take that as extra effort coming all that far. Another family comes at almost an hour to get here. And there's other families that are traveling 30 minutes plus just to get here. You've got to appreciate the dedication that it takes to do that consistently. We have families here from all over the surrounding area, although all the surrounding counties in Georgia and Alabama make Bremen their home. And we're excited about this enthusiasm and desire to work with this congregation. I hope I didn't leave anyone else. I said here I ought to do an ACUF count, multiply by 2. Larry was a great preacher, but his math skills were always on the ambitious side. Right here for a minute, Chris scared me to death. I thought he was going to take all my stuff and I was going to just sit up here and have nothing to say. But let me repeat, our Sunday morning worship attendance average was 172. Sunday evening was 125. Sunday morning Bible study was 132. And Wednesday night Bible study was 137. It's a sign of health and moving in the right direction when your Wednesday night Bible study is equal to or greater than your Sunday night worship. You can see a lot of struggling congregations that their Wednesday night service is poorly attended and it just filters through everything that they do. But this is a sign of a healthy church. Mark 16:15 tells us to go all into the world and preach the gospel. Evangelism should be our primary focus for each Christian, not just the congregation. Bremen is supporting evangelism locally, domestically, and globally. And we're supporting, and here's that at least again, we're supporting at least 12 foreign ministries, 2 U.S.-based ministries, 4 preaching school students, and 9 assorted publications and broadcasts. And that's the minimum. I'm sure there are more in that general category that we use. As you know, in 2025, we added a full-time youth/outreach minister. Landon and his family have already become a vital part of the Bremen congregation. With his help and enthusiasm, we hope to increase our youth and evangelism effort to a new level. He'll be approaching some of you soon as we better organize our evangelistic efforts, and we know you'll step up to help out however he asks. In 2026, we want to focus on evangelism in ways we've done in the past, and also in new ways we hope will prove productive. You see on the PowerPoint, one of the first ideas, maybe recap, I don't know. But anyway, one of the first ideas is having a quarterly men's breakfast. Now, what guy doesn't like to eat, right? So we expect that to be well attended. Our focus there is just going to be to edify each other, discuss ideas for evangelism, and just generally hang out with each other and get to know each other better. And every time I mention a men's gathering, some lady's going to ask me, well, how do I get my ideas presented? Well, ladies, if you're married, I'm sure your husband knows exactly what's on your mind. For you ladies that are single or whose husbands are sadly no longer with us, if you have a suggestion, make it to the elders or someone, and we'll make sure that gets addressed. Now, evangelism activities, about a third of the way down on that screen. Now, Larry used to say, people don't know how much you know and don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. So a lot of evangelism is going to be focusing on showing folks how much we care. We're exploring some of the following ideas. Now, this came out of that deacons meeting that we had, was it early? October, okay. So some of these ideas came out of the deacons meeting we had in October, and we're going to try to implement some of those and see how they go. Feeding the first responders and teachers, just provide a meal and say hi, let them know who we are, what we're about, and invite them to come visit with us one Sunday. That goes a long way in the community, getting a positive impression of the congregation. Town festivals is another thing we can do. We just bought a great big tent last year. Why don't we use it? Set it up, have some water there. And everybody, have you ever been to one of these town festivals, whether it's Rootville, Buchanan, Bremen? There's all these people got food and stuff, and there's no place to sit. If we had that tent full of chairs and some water there, we'd get a lot of attention. So we're looking at that. We're looking at a backpack drive, make sure that children have things they need for school. Now, Carrollton, I think, does a backpack drive, and they provide food. Some of these kids don't get to eat from Friday afternoon to Monday morning. So we could help that, or we could, I think they may do, I know Jason from down there works here, and they may be doing some program in the Bremen system, but there's still the county system we could do, or we could work together with them. So we're going to explore that. Door knockings and fellowship afterwards. We've done some door knockings last year and had a cookout in conjunction with that, and that cookout went really well. And I want to thank everybody that took part in that. And I wanted to call folks by name, but I was afraid I'd miss somebody, and then I'd be in trouble. So I just want you all to know that we recognize your efforts and we appreciate it. Also regarding evangelism, we'll be identifying couples to head up the compassion card effort, the prospect list, the visitor follow-ups, and the cards are going to be in addition to the cards being already sent out. There's a lot of folks sending out cards now, and we appreciate that and thank you for your effort, and that goes a long way with helping out and being a good influence. And once we have those people identified, we'll be scheduling a follow-up evangelism training that will be held sometime probably late spring. There's so many here that are already busy doing the Lord's work, from sending out cards to Bible studies to maintaining the building and just being ready to lend a hand wherever the need arises. For all this, the elders want to thank you for your efforts. Mark 16:15 commands us to go out and preach the gospel. This is our primary mission. That being said, there's a lot of things done to edify the congregation to keep us strong and faithful. One of these things is to offer an invitation for those that need the prayers of their Christian brothers and sisters. Whether it be for physical problems or spiritual, we use this opportunity as times to pray for each other. It's also time for those who are ready to surrender to the Lord's will and put on Christ in baptism to do that. If either of these are your desires, please come while we stand and sing.